Alright, didn't plan on doing a pen review just yet, but I wanted to talk about this right here, the Hero 901. It's a gorgeous pen. Now, my wife just got this in the mail the other day. I already had one in my collection, and I don't think she realized that when she ordered it, so now we've got two of them in the family. When I first started collecting fountain pens, or first started getting into the hobby, I didn't know much about them, so I just looked online and found what was fairly affordable and looked good. And so in my first handful of pens, literally within my first half a dozen or so, was the Hero 901. These right now go on eBay direct from China from anywhere between $2 and $5. So it's an affordable pen. And quite honestly, I think it's one of the most beautiful pens that I've got or seen in a long time. Hero being a Chinese manufacturer, I mean, you're probably familiar with a lot of other Chinese manufacturers, Hero, Wing Sung, and I think Hero and Wing Sung maybe even be the same company, just putting out different brands. Jinhao, Bauer, just to name a few. And they've become huge in the fountain pen community. Now, this particular Hero 901, what can I tell you about it? It's a heavy pen. It is one of the heavier pens in my collection. It's good and it's solid. So this is a good 45 grams, which equates to about 1.55 ounces. So it's a hefty pen. It's one of the heavier pens I've got in my collection. So when you pick it up, that's one of the first things that you notice. Not only is it pretty, and like I said, it's gorgeous with that gold on black in that gold trim at the end. At the base, it's just black, and then on the finial, you've got that design on it. So, aesthetically, it was really beautiful. And so I went ahead and inked it up when I first got it. And I inked up my wife's. I put in a Diamine Onyx Black, because she wanted to put it black. So with that lacquer against the gold tone, it's actually a very aesthetically pleasing writing instrument. Now, some things I know about this particular pen. It's hard to uncap that pen. Not just for this one, but also for this one. So, and I don't own that one, by the way, anymore. After my wife got this one, my son said, I like that one. So I pulled it out, handed it to him, and now he's got my pen added to his collection. But it's a hard pull. And one of the things you notice when you uncap it is you've got this design here around the base where the cap would cover that up. So it's got a nice little design there as well. They usually come standard with a medium nib, a nothing special nib, and it wrote fairly well. It posts okay, posts securely, but I can tell you that's really going to back weight that pen an awful lot. So it's just long enough to be able to not have to post it. You've got a step down where the snap cap will come, but that's no big deal. So there's a small step down right there where you got that design, and then it comes down to some more gold tone, and it's got the black lacquer there where you grab, and it's tapered down towards the nib, which you'd think that might make it a little more uncomfortable, but actually it's not too bad. So, because it's long enough to be able to grip and grip securely. So it holds okay in the hand. Like I said, I've used my pen an awful lot after I first got it, but I had a few problems, and I'll explain here in just a little bit. And this is where it'll come into play. Inside there's just that plastic inner seal on that cap. Well, that thing, it doesn't just go set inside, it actually gets down and it screws in. And what I ran across on my pen is it started to unscrew a little bit because of how hard it was, and it just kept unscrewing and unscrewing, and I literally had to get a rubber grip that you would use, let's say, to try to loosen up a jar of pickles, and put it down in there and shove a pen down there and push it down hard and screw it back in place and pull it out in order for it to secure at the base of the pen cap. So even though it's pretty, it snaps really hard to pull, hard to push. Now, this is the one I gave my son. This is even harder. That one's even harder. Same kind of design, exact identical pen. Now here's what I'll show you too. It does take a international standard cartridge or converter. This one I just put in here the other day. It's got one of those little slide converters. The converter that I had that was in there previously was giving me a hassle, so I chucked it, and I just put one of those in there. See how hard that was? That was kind of tough to get that in. So they don't write too bad. I will say this. The one that I had over here, not that you can tell the difference, but the one that I had wrote smoothly right out of the box, so to speak, when I got it. Never had a problem with this one. My wife got hers the other day, and it was a little scratchy. She didn't like the way it wrote. So, okay. So I got out some micro mesh, and I made sure the tines were in alignment. I had my jeweler's loop and looking at it, making sure everything was in alignment. So, here's how it wrote. It wrote more like a fine on hers than it did as a medium in my other pen. So it needed a little bit of smoothing. So I spent some time with it. Now what I will say is on this higher quality paper, it actually wrote more toothier on this paper than it did on ordinary notepad paper. So when I was sitting there doing my nib work, and typically my wife will not be writing on some Rhodia or some Clairefontaine or Tomoe River paper or anything like that. So we use just notepads. I got it so it wrote really smoothly on a regular notepad, but when I wrote in that book, it was a little toothy and a little tough to write with. So, I can't complain too much about it. There is obviously a difference in the quality between the two. One that I had ordered some time ago and used for a while versus the one my wife had just ordered. For $2 to $5, you actually get a pretty good looking pen. Interesting side note, when I was watching a nib smoothing video by Matt Armstrong at the Pen Habit, he was actually demonstrating with a Hero 901 that belonged to his dad. So for his video, he used that. So that was just kind of an interesting thing that I found, because I was like, hey, I got one of those. And actually, mine wrote pretty good. Didn't have to smooth it. Now, when it comes to my wife's, yeah, I had to put a Hero 901 to the smoothing process. I'll put up, if I haven't already, I'll put up some statistics on the pen length and all that happy stuff, because I took measurements, and I've been starting to put that out for people who want to see that. The Hero 901, do I recommend it? If you want a really pretty pen, for $2 to $5 delivered to your door, you can't go wrong. You may have to tinker with it, and if you're trying to learn how to do nib smoothing and tine alignment and that kind of thing, probably not a bad investment with which to tinker, because you're not going to throw away a lot of money doing it. It's a heavy pen, so if you like to put them in your pocket, probably not for you. If you're just looking at something to throw in a pen slip or a pen case and you can chuck in your pocket, okay. If you're looking for something, though, that may work perfectly first time around, it's hit or miss on that. But if you're just looking for something really, really pretty to have in your collection that can write, and if you know how to smooth or give you something a little bit to tinker with, the Hero 901 is actually not a bad option. With that black lacquer and that gold trim, it's actually a gorgeous pen. So, would I buy another one? Yeah, but I've already got two in the family, so I'm not likely to do so. I mean, I had one, and I just gave it away a couple days ago because I want my son to enjoy it now instead. So, anyway, those are the things I've seen about it, what I liked and what I didn't, and maybe if it's an idea for you, if you've been considering one, just some things to ponder. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.